Hey there, friends in spirit and love. It's Tricia Carr here, and I want to invite you to a magical workshop called The Mystical Medium. The Mystical Medium is a live 2-day workshop designed to connect you to the other side. I'm teaching this workshop, so I want to share a few ways that mediumship is a powerful gift and blessing in my life. Well, personally, developing my mediumistic abilities helped me to have a deeper, more precise communication with my spirit guides. In conjunction with my meditation practice, mediumship has been key in helping me to hear, see, feel messages and guidance from spirit. Second, having a connection to my past loved ones is such a comfort, to say the least. By carrying on my relationships with those who have moved into eternity, well, I feel like I'm living more eternal and free. And finally, as a professional medium, being that channel for others and their past loved ones, with evidential, unmistakable details, this has been such a humbling and truly mind-blowing experience, and I tell you, it is that every single time I experience it. So I hope you will check out the Mystical Medium Workshop. It will be offered live December 4th and 5th, 2021. The Mystical Medium is presented by Lightshine Academy. Visit class.lightshineacademy.com/mediumship. Learn more and register. Spirit is waiting. Hi, everyone. Oh, I think the ad started over again. So welcome, everyone. Nice to see you guys. I see Julie is here. Hi, Crystal, Rachel, and I saw Chris Hoffman. Oh my gosh, Eat You Up. And Yvette. Sorry, I look this way because even though I'm looking at a screen right here, this is bigger and I can see it better. So anyway, I'm so excited to be here with you guys too. Excited. I found a deck of cards that I 100% forgot that I have, 100% have maybe never used. So I think that is quite serendipitous. Earth Magic. How did I forget I have an Earth Magic Oracle deck? This is by Stephen Farmer, who I can't remember what I know about that person, but the deck I'm happy about. So anyway, we're going to get into some of that. I'm going to give a little chat about Panpsychism. And then if you guys want to ask for any readings or anything like that, I am here for you. So thank you for coming to my live stream. I am live streaming this on many platforms. So if you're watching the replay, welcome and hello, and thank you for being here. Hi, Shanna. And hi, you guys. Some of if you're on Facebook, it says Facebook user. If you want to have it so that I can see your name, all you need to do is click through the little link that's at the top of the post that says streamyard.com/Facebook. And then it'll just get permission from Facebook so that I can see your name if you want to. And now I want to mention the Mediumship Workshop, which is named Mystical Medium, and it is this Saturday and Sunday, and I am so excited. I'm really excited because there's going to be new stuff coming through for me. Every time I teach, that's my deal with spirit. I just came from the hairdresser. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? But there was a hair that was out of place. Anyway, that's my deal with spirit is I open myself up for something brand new. And so I'm very excited about this weekend. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific, both days, 11, 12, 1 Eastern. And the classes will be about 3 hours approximately. And we will have, teaching, meditation, attunement, very much attunement. There's a lot of this that's based in attunement, meaning that you're going to be attuned to mediumistic frequency. And again, I'm excited about that because as the one who brings it through, then I get attuned to it too. And I've been getting super attuned to mediumship, spirit showing up for me in different ways with my past loved ones. If you listened to, I don't know if it was on my podcast or my YouTube channel or both, recently I shared a story about how my father came through. He passed away in 2016 and he came and gave me a dream visitation. And it was really interesting because I don't think about my dad a lot, mainly because he wasn't in my life for 30 years. So it's not like I miss him in my life. So I think about him just more archetypally. If I, that's just how it is. When someone's not been in your life for 30 years, there aren't instances, habituated instances where they, are there. Anyway, so he showed up in this dream as a visitation, and he was looking for, we were in like this movie theater or something like that. And he was coming up and he was asking me where my half sister was, who he did have a relationship with throughout until, his whole life consistently. And he was asking where she was, asking me to help him find her. And I remember he used to affectionately, he would call all of us kind of by our first and middle names. Sometimes you get called that when you're in trouble, but like my sister, Kim, which that's how you say that in Texan, you say Kim. If I know you from California, I call you Kim, but my sister's name is pronounced Kim. And Kim's middle name is Jane. So he'd call her KJ or he'd call her Kimberly Jane if he wanted to kind of be a little affectionate with her. And so my half sister, who I'm not going to mention her name right now because, I'm going to say something a little bit, I don't know, personal. I don't know if I have her permission. But anyway, he would call her by her first and middle name, but he wasn't calling her that. He was calling her a totally different name, which I knew exactly what that name meant. And the name has to do with spirituality. Let's just say that. Again, not to tell her, in a way that if they could clear away these spiritual concepts that may be fear-based or something like that, he could communicate with her. And so this was all in the dream. The next day, I tapped into it and I was reaching out to my dad in my meditation, and it was coming through a little fuzzy. So mostly my guides were explaining to me what happened, explaining to me the significance of the name that he called her, which had a spiritual significance, and things that I actually do know about her life that would help her if she cleared those, what we call blocks, or cleared some of that fear, then she may be able to receive him as a spirit guide or in spirit communication with him. And all of my sisters kind of have the stank on them. They kind of have the gift, the stank, the spiritual thing going on. They've had supernatural phenomenon happening all their lives. And anyway, so my dad is basically now he passed in 2016 and it's now 2021. And he is now at the point in his afterlife where he is practicing being a spirit guide. And that's kind of a long time from our perspective, I would think. But, he had a really, really painful, diseased life with alcoholism and violence. So in a way, it also makes sense that it took him that long to acclimate to spirit, to heal, to recover, to do a life review. And now he's ready to kind of play or practice being a spirit guide. And he came to me. I don't know if he's going to my other sisters, but they're not practicing spiritual teachers and mediums and everything. So, and I walked him across into the light. So I'm kind of what he called me when he was passing. Are you going to be are you my angel, baby girl? And so I said, sure, Daddy, I'll be your angel. So I'm his angel. And that was really interesting. So that was something that kind of came through new about spirits sort of practicing being a spirit guide. It's not like fresh, brand new, like, oh my God, I never considered that. But I felt it. I got an attunement from my daddy visiting me. And that was about two weeks ago, I think. So other things happening anyway. So I thought I'd share that story with you. So how are you guys doing? Hi, everybody. Nice to see you guys. Oh, thank you, Crystal. I know you, Crystal, you like when my hairdresser does my hair. He does a good job. I walked in here. This is my studio, and our admin who sits at the front, she complimented my hair right away. And I was like, yeah, I didn't do it. It's obvious. That's why I'm getting compliments. All right, so let's talk about, we're gonna do some readings here in a minute. So when I let you know, I would love for you to post in the comments if you're watching in the replay. Stick around for the readings portion because Spirit organizes it so that whoever is receiving readings is being a portal, being a magnet for information that benefits us all. So if you stick around, even if you're watching the replay or if it's not your reading on the live, Spirit will organize it so that we're all receiving something from the question of the person who is technically the subject or the sitter. And so in a bit, I will ask you to post some questions here in the comments, and then we will, we'll move into some readings with my cool new to me deck, even though I've had it for who knows how many years, Earth Magic deck. But I want to talk a little bit about panpsychism, because this is a concept that really helps me to, it's a philosophical or spiritual concept. By the way, you know that spirituality is philosophy, right? It is not science. It's closer to art than science, which I think is rad because it means that it's totally fluid and it's always open to expansion in the moment, to receiving. Now, at the same time, there can be, while it is an art form rather than a science, it also has structure, because artistic experiences and practices and genres have structures, right? Now we also break down those structures and rebuild them so that we can advance our artistic expression. And philosophy is very much like that. There are certain rules that help us, or standards that help us to move along a path of contemplation, but we also are open to having those shifted in any moment. We hold loosely to them because we want ourselves to be the most sovereign in the experience, as the philosopher, as the artist, as the spiritual seeker. Panpsychism is a philosophical or spiritual concept, which defines the fact that, or the contemplation that every bit of reality has a concept, or has a fundamental experience of mind, or a mind-like quality. I'll say that again. Everything in reality has a fundamental experience of mind, or a mind-like quality. I'm going to say it a different way. Everything is energy. And where there is energy, there is information. Or where there is energy, there is some kind of consciousness. There is an experience. There is a knowingness. Now, are these all exactly the same? No. And that's what's so rad about it. So something that is an amoeba existing in a 1D, a first dimensional, area, density, first density, doesn't it has it has a consciousness. Is it like a human's consciousness? No. And that's what's awesome. Is an archangel's consciousness like my human consciousness? No. But we can all experience one another, and we can form a bond and a relationship. We can form a frequency of exchange, of communion. So panpsychism is the awareness, or the pondering that absolutely everything has consciousness, and that we can form a relationship with it. So that means that, oh yes, many of you are going to be like, sure, I get that. Yeah, of course. This is a rose quartz pyramid crystal. It has an energetic frequency. It is energy, and this energy can be communed with me. Now, what I pick up from it is probably not going to be, man, I have an ex-boyfriend and he's a dick, because that's a human thing. You know what I mean? Like, why won't my boss give me a promotion? I deserve it. These are silly things that, I hate the president, or I love the president, whatever. Those are if we kind of project that onto it, then it's an anthropomorphizing, which means that we are projecting human qualities onto something that isn't human. Now, it can, especially crystals, it can amplify aspects in ourselves that will help us to resolve some of the feelings around that stuff. If resolution is at hand. I'm going to go ahead and hide the current comment. And but it isn't the crystal having that experience. It's the crystal supporting our experience, and that is something that crystals are particularly great at. Likewise, I'm an animal communicator with animals. Sometimes some of my session is dedicated to helping. Well, a lot of my sessions is dedicated to helping humans understand their animals, and animals understand their humans, to build that bridge and that frequency of communion that is mutually beneficial and works with their paradigm of mind. That's cool. Paradigm of mind. That sounds like a good rock band or movie. I don't know. Hashtag paradigm of mind. Anyway, So yeah, part of my sessions though with animals might be this is a strong example. It's happened many times where someone's like, "Hey, my cat is peeing outside the box. Is she mad at me or is she trying to tell me something?" And it's no, they don't really work that way. Animals don't think about revenge. Now, they do think about behaving in a certain way to offset certain either threats or, you know, something like that, or challenges. But in this example, if a cat is peeing or pooping outside of the box, the first thing we need to do is take her to the vet, because there's possibly something going on with the physical body. Because when they have my husband's just texting me that he's feeding my babies right now. And a cat in particular, if there's something going on physically, then it sometimes shows up in not going into the box, because they flip into their primal nature. They feel very vulnerable and threatened when they're doing something like using the bathroom. And so they either can't really have the presence of mind to go where they would normally go, or another thing that could be happening is they're spreading out their scent because they're feeling threatened. And it may not have to do with activity. It may have to do with something physically going on. They are a bit more vulnerable because of a medical condition. So anyway, they don't think about things like, "I'm mad at you, poop." That's not how that isn't the sort of complexity of double thinking that animals have. And so that would be an anthropomorphizing to go like, "Oh, she's mad at me because this is happening." But animals, especially mammals, have the same, they have the availability, they have the same experience of the range of emotions. Just probably not the range of behaviors, or the way that they put them all together is not the same as humans. But we still have a way to be able to commune in a bond that is authentic for both of us. And that is what panpsychism supports. The other thing that panpsychism helps us to understand is that there is no hierarchy. There's nothing that is better. There's no, like, even like Archangel Michael, he's not better than me. Oh, he thinks he's better than me. No, I'm kidding. He's not. They're not greater. They are maybe more proximate to source energy in their point of perspective, but that isn't greater, because source energy, or God, values me as much as anything else. And if anything would be a bit more precious with me, in the sense that I'm more vulnerable than Michael, being in my point of perspective further. Again, this is, quote unquote, in my architectural standpoint from source energy, from my perception. I've forgotten more my connection to that loving reality, that communion between me and Prime Creator. So, I mean, there you go, right there. The fact that we have a communion frequency with Prime Creator, source energy, God. God is all that is, and I'm just a one piece of is. So if I can have a communion with that, then that to me is panpsychism. Then anything can have a communion on that God frequency, one to another. It also points to the fact that everything, all energy, fundamentally is neutral. All energy fundamentally is neutral. Therefore, nothing is greater than another thing. Nothing is good or bad. And that the capacity for one energy to seemingly experience another energy when there's only one energy, that capacity, that function is love. For me to experience anything else is love, because that is how God created. God had a thought, God moved, God breathed, God had an experience that was something in addition to itself, and that is love. To have an experience in addition to itself is love, and that's the process of creation. So me, with my awareness, which is my God essence, my I am, being able to regard anything else like this book, fundamentally, I am neutral, but then when I regard something else and I connect with it, that is love. Everything else we do on top of that is our power of being a creator. So I get this and I'm like, I hate this. I don't like women, and this has a woman on it. Women suck. That's me using my I am, my God power, my love power, exploring the boundaries of what that power, that loving power, can do. Love is so powerful that it can even experience the lack of itself. But what it does fundamentally is experience itself. And so the base frequency of experiencing is love, and that is the correct, or the true frequency. Everything else is a divergence from that, and everything else comes back to it. So if you can take away from this that at any time when any of us are feeling despair about how difficult things are things ever going to get better, in our society, and how humans are beating the shit out of each other, know that the real, the truest reality, the greatest truth of this, of relating one to another, is love. Love, and it's always returning back to love. So love is never corrected. Love always corrects. Or as I say a lot of times, love works every time. Even if we don't understand the conditions in any particular moment, love works every time, and everything is returning to love, because everything in its base frequency, so according to Panpsychism, has a mind-like quality. That mind-like quality is neutral until it expresses itself, or until it connects with something outside of itself, and that is love. Okay, that's what I have for you. I'm going to see what y'all are doing over here. Let me see. This is Kayla. She says, this is my first time joining a live with you. Finally joined the group. Oh, great. Oh, thank you, Kayla. Thank you so much. So the group she is referring to is the Light Shine Lab on Facebook. You can find it facebook.com/ I think it's still the / is the Lightworkers Lab, but just look for the Light Shine Lab as a group and join, because it is amazing. It is the best place on the internet, y'all. Nice to meet you, Kayla. All right, guys, would you like some readings? I'm here for y'all. And if you would like, who's cracking you? Chris? Is Chris cracking you up with his comments? Probably, right? So if you would like some readings, again, I will skim through. Just give a little bit of something to hook into, so that it's not so general. I just want a general reading, because it'll be very, very general then. And then, of course, not too much, because that's going to sort of define it too much, give it too many conditions. So give us a little something. You can say, like, I would like some guidance on this new job opportunity, or how to attract a new partner. Something along those lines. That would be fantastic. Okay, Shanna. Yeah, just give us a little something to hook into. That would be great. And, it's me that's cracking you up, Shanna? Oh, all right then, because I use curse words and stuff. I know. I'm not the holiest. Well, I take that back. While you guys are posting your requests for readings, let us, as I like to do, reclaim the word holy. Because do you know that the word holy does not mean righteousness? It doesn't mean that the pastor, the priest, or the minister is better than, like, I'm just thinking of, like, in the Bible, like the women of ill repute or something like that, prostitutes. It doesn't mean anybody's better. What holy is, it comes from holism, or what we tend to, in our more common, holistic medicine, right? That's integrative. It means that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. And it's basically the law of one, or a unified system. So if something is holy, that means it's in alignment with the law of one. It's in alignment with unity consciousness. Okay, here. I see one. I haven't read it yet. I would love a reading. Any guidance on work, promotion, or a relationship? Okay, work, promotion, or relationship. And this is Linda. Work, promotion, or relationship, Linda. All right, let's see what we've got here. Okay, Linda, so I'm being drawn to, while I'm shuffling the cards, I'm tapping in, and I'm being drawn to your lower abdomen. And so it's a bit like in the area of sacral, but it's also up to the solar plexus. And so it is sort of the connecting channel or meridian between these two, but it's a bit more housed in the sacral. So as I feel into this, the sacral is sort of holding some past, well, trauma, and it shows up in the body as well. And there's something that is along, it's kind of the frequency of shame. And that feels like a kind of a bigger word than you may resonate with right now, but there's not a softer word to use right now. But what that is doing is affecting some of the solar plexus. Brilliance is the word they tell me. The brilliance of the solar plexus. And so they say there's just and they're showing me it's just this little root. If you had the flower, excuse me, of this promotion blooming, if you can close your eyes, if you will, Linda, and anybody else who would like to think about abundance and manifestation along these lines. Visualize a fully bloomed, just beautiful flower, and have it house it in the body so that the bloom is right there in the solar plexus area. And if you've ever seen flowers that are they're such at their peak, and the petals are firm and they're curled out, or whatever way that the petals would express themselves in their natural shape, and they're curled and they're so tight because they have so much water in them, and they're just giving themselves over to the sun that is bathing on them. Their aroma is so powerful and beautiful. And there are butterflies coming along, and there are bees coming along, and it's at its fullest fluorescence. It's so beautiful. And feel this as you visualize this, see it or feel it or just imagine it inside the solar plexus. And this solar plexus, it may need to be even bigger in order to house this incredibly beautiful bloom with its aroma, with its colors, with its outstretched petals, just saying, yes, sun, yes. I am one with this sun. I am giving fully out to the garden, to the ecosystem. Welcome bees, welcome birds, welcome butterflies. I am here, and I'm a part of you, and we are part of one another. Okay, while you're soaking that in, while you're letting it be all the colors, look at the colors, smell the aroma. Now, I want you to just imagine that down the stem, that is that channel between the solar plexus and the sacral. That's the stem of the flower. And then down into the sacral are the roots into the soil. It actually moves through the sacral into the root chakra where the soil is, but the roots are moving past and through the sacral. In the sacral, if you can think of many roots that extend out the bottom of that stem, there's just one root that's sad. It's a little sick. It's a little disempowered. And it's just one of all of these many. But really, it is sort of impeding that fullness that we know is possible, which we just got an attunement to, of that fluorescence. It's just stopping that because it wants to be discovered. It wants to be healed. It wants to be strengthened. And so right now we're going to do an imagery, a visualization to actually send health, vitality to that one little root that's a little bit weak. It's not capable of absorbing the nutrients from the water and the soil, and therefore it's not communing it up through the stem and out to the flower, just that one. So let's just allow it to just focus in on that one root and allow it to absorb all of the nutrients. We don't even have to know what they are, from the soil, from the sun, and then, from the water. And then also the blossom is working too, because it's receiving the nutrients, the neutrinos, all of the sun's energy, and it's sending it down the stem. And so from below and from above, this root is being healed. All right, so let that happen while I pull a card too. And so there is a bit of trauma, and here's your card, that wants to be acknowledged and released. It has to do with a core wounding. And so this most likely has to do with mother or primary caregiver. If that is not mother, then it's whoever else's primary caregiver. And this is something that's maybe not so expected It feels like what they're telling me, actually, Linda, it is something that you have dealt with, but there's an area of it where just wants to be welcomed in a little bit more. Okay, thank you. They just said to me, it's not yours. That whatever you mapped from this experience and also from the other individual is not yours. It's a literal script. It's a download.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Siri does that a lot. Did you hear her? When I'm channeling, she starts talking back to me. It's just like how the electronics go crazy. But anyway, it's like a download or an imprint that is actually from either your mother or your primary caregiver, whoever that may be in this scenario. I'm going to leave it open-ended for you, Linda, as well as anybody else who is also being serviced with this. And it's just, you can be, but okay, thank you. But the key is to be gentle. That there's maybe a withholding about moving into it because it's like, ugh, I don't want to see another ugly side of that thing. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Acknowledge, love, nurture the self. If you want to call up the inner child and just tell her or him how beautiful they are, how wonderful, talented, blessed, capable, and let them, and just talk to that inner child right now about that beautiful flower. Admire the flower and say, that is you. And you got this. There is nothing that you need to be more complete in order for that flower to blossom that way. As we're doing this, that little bit of a root is receiving all of its nutrients. It's healing. All of the tissues of the little root are being connected together. The cells are becoming more robust, and it is coming into harmony and union with the whole. It's looking at the other roots and saying, yeah, oh, look at the times where I've healed. Oh, look at that. And oh boy, I have the soil holding me. I have the sun shining on me. And it is receiving that healing right now. And okay, great. So your card is New Moon and it says promise. So I love this. We are at the beginning of setting an intention with the new moon and they're telling me, making a promise to yourself to continue to be there for yourself, to continue to be on your own side, to continue to counsel and champion yourself. So they're actually saying that as you're moving toward this promotion, that they want you to speak positively to yourself and just talk yourself through and say, you know what? I'm so capable of this. I don't need it. I want it. Deserve it has an icky connotation to it. It's something more than that. That we would all be good if I got this promotion. I would be of great service, and I would be challenged in new and great ways. And this is, and I accept that. And all the way I accept the process too. So I love challenges and I'm good at challenges, and I can be present in any moment and be able to work with others and incite a kind of connection with others. And so this path of moving on the promotion, why not? You will be that flower that is so brilliant and giving to the ecosystem and the garden at the same time. All right, so make a promise to yourself to be very kind and gentle with yourself. Okay. How is that? That is what did you say there, Linda? Let me see. You said that is what she never told me. Yeah, okay. Sorry. I wanted to see what it was, but that's okay. Something that you were never told. Maybe it was something that I said. I don't remember. I gotcha. Something that I said about maybe talking to the inner child. Okay, great. So I'm going to just scan. I'm going to shuffle the feed, if you will, and see where I'm guided. Okay, here's one. This is from Kayla. Hi, Kayla. I would love a reading if there is time. My husband and I may be interested in buying a business, and I've been trying to feel into what the energy of owning it is like. I'm kind of, in my own way, trying to tap into it, though. Yeah, I get that. Well, first of all, as I read that, feel into what it would be like owning it. That feels a bit more like an outside construct. Like you're trying to think of other scenarios that you know about and saying like, almost like, can I identify with that? And it's more something that you are meant to define and to show up and be there. Okay, let me just see. Is this going to work for them? Okay. So it feels really good. It feels like there's just some challenges, but mostly those challenges are slight delays, and the slight delays just help you to give you the opportunity to refine your frequency around it. There is something that is going to come up where it's like you start, I don't know if it's a contract maybe or something along those lines, meaning maybe it's construction or something along those lines, maybe not exactly construction. And that I feel like your husband really being in the driver's seat of that, talking to you about it and stuff, then sort of like thinking it's going to work, but then opting out of it. And that's just one example of how there might be some slight delays that are allowing you to refine your frequency around it. And then I see as you get in, it's sort of like a clean slate. And then you build it. And so I think in the last one, we said something about loving the process. And so this is a loving the process too. But I do feel that there is a big stepping into your power with this, you specifically, Kayla, and that you get to, even be creative around it. And but it's best for you to be present with it with each step, and just let the field show it to you. Let the field bring to you the timing. Let the field bring to you the different choices and everything. Sanctuary, cave. So can you see that? So being in okay, thank you. So again, your own sanctuary about it. See, when we are looking at outside constructs, paradigms, experiences, examples, and saying, "Can I be like that?" That's you're kind of being when you say you're getting in your own way, you're not really. Or I guess you are in like thinking that I need to be with something that I can imagine outside of myself, but in fact they want you to be in your own sanctuary, your own sacred space, your own energy about it, and to be very, very present with each step of the way. I have to show you the back of the cards. It's a tree as above, so below. Oops, sorry, I banged the microphone. With all those roots, I just realized that that's there. So, and I would say even as a spiritual practice, to go, cut all cords with imagining what's on the outside, and go into your own, have a reset into your own sanctuary, into your own place, and just release all of the conditions and feel that clean slate, and how you get to be creative and play around with the imaginings of what it could be, as a way to just create the frequency around it, and then of course release all of the specifics of it, because then we can allow it to be even greater, this or something greater. Yeah, good. Sorry, I gotta answer my husband. Oh, it's warm in here. That makes sense. Okay. Let's see. The delays. Okay, great. Good. Oh, I see, Linda. She never complimented you. Oh, well then great. Then what was it? Make a promise to yourself to compliment yourself. Okay, good. Thank you for that feedback there. All right, here is one that I'm being drawn to. TM1111 would be grateful for a reading. I'm wanting to leave my current job and I'm actively looking for new roles. Is this the right move? If so, can Spirit give guidance on a new role and when? All right, I have to take a sip or two here. Okay, so they're telling me, like, you got this. Just say what you've already picked up on. All right. So the yeah, I know it does, honey. Okay, so what they're showing me, okay, I'm actually getting a little, to put it in some context, it almost feels like maybe we want to, it's close to the right timing. Let's say that. The most important thing isn't as much about the timing as it is about going in and doing some sort of healing and shadow work. And yet that's still, so that, assuming that's going to happen, that still may take us a little bit past the holidays, or it's, I don't know what your specific situation is, and I don't want to tap in, to specifics or talk about it here, but it seems like if you quit before the new year, the new role doesn't show up quite yet. There's it has to do with the synchronization of the whole field, but it also has to do with you synchronizing your energy to the field. So assuming that you kind of go in there and do some, because you have with this, the old job, it's almost like you need to reset from it before you move on. You don't really want to, ideally, you want to be completely at peace so that there's no anger, frustration, whatever the things could be, or even boredom, if that's what it is. If we can come to like just a completely neutral, peaceful energy and then have the relationship dissolve, that's ideal. So that's ideal. And then still for the new role, that seems like there is some timing, but there's also just simply the process of the growth cycle of seasons and cycles that would take a few weeks. So they show me that given the actual work, that's more around early February, that the new role presents itself. And so, okay, so then the new role being something that is not lateral, but something a little bit more, but there's great challenge to it. And the identity is going to be pretty different. It's going to be, but it feels fresh at the same time. And it does feel more in alignment with your creativity, more in alignment with how responsible you are, and being able to use your responsibility rather than something that's a bit more like, where everything's already kind of set. So you actually will be way more qualified for it than you even envision yourself to be. So there is okay, thank you. So they say an incubation period. So right now, with the wondering if you could know what the roles are, it's just be patient with it. Give yourself patience and grace, because that isn't going to show itself quite yet. The transition period is going to have the shadow work, then the leaving of the job, then the presenting of the new role. I don't know if this has to do with how much savings you have or whatever it is, whatever your resources are, but I don't feel a lot of struggle in a practical sense, in a material sense. I feel more of the opportunity to stay at peace, even though if you're in a transition, in even a gap where you're like, the old habits want to go like, oh my God, but you go, nope, that's great. I'm waiting for the field to show me, and I'm continuing to, allow myself to live in a state of grace, because in a container of grace is how I can heal and then be able to, move into a greater role. Okay. Childhood and innocence. So innocence okay, thank you. So innocence speaking to the childhood frequency, that creativity that children have when they are playing, when they're just using everything that's available, and they're so present. You watch a child playing and they're like, and then the remote came along and he says, hello card, we're best friends now. Just using everything and being so present with saying yes to everything. And so that's the innocence. Okay, thank you. So the innocence has to do with that reset, with that assuming everything is working out, and assuming everything is there to co-create with you and to challenge the best out of you, to be in the moment, to be present, and then to say yes to it and to use it in the way that is making something beautiful and exciting. The frequency of childhood, of being open, being creative, being, having no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like no bitterness, I guess, is the best way I could say it. Having nothing no assumptions as you move into something. That's the childhood frequency that they're wanting you to reset with in this opportunity. All right, I hope that was helpful. Can I shuffle the deck? Meaning the feed. Okay, here's one I'm drawn to. Let's see. Hi, Jennifer. My back has been hurting a lot lately. I'm so sorry. Please ask my spirit team what my back needs emotionally to heal and some specific ways for me to be less rigid and tense. All right. So angels come forward for you and telling me that you are so angelic and you have such an angelic frequency, and that the experience of being in the physical body is very challenging sometimes. And so, but they want you to, they want to give you the reassurance that, first of all, they want to give you the reassurance that it doesn't have to, it's not like, because you know this already. Yes, I know. I mean, the angelic frequency feels normal to me, but I'm in this physical body. So they want you to know that these are not necessarily at odds, and so that this must always happen. They just want you to feel relieved about that. And then, so it's looking to me like it's low back. Did you tell me that, or did I just, it just says, okay. Anyway, and it's looking like it's more on the right side. There's like a tension. Okay. So, I mean, I hear acupuncture, but also acupressure, some specific, because we want to break up some of that tissue. We want to get the energy flowing in those areas. So I don't know if you're already seeing an acupuncturist. If you are, I don't know if you want to bump up the frequency of seeing the acupuncturist or see a different one. And of course, if you're not seeing any, then they're telling me if you pray about it, that you'll be guided to that right practitioner for you. What else do you want to show me? Okay. So they say also that there are some ways that you can reduce the inflammation. Okay, I don't know if you are a vegetarian, but for some reason they are showing me proteins that are inflammatory, which could be legumes and even pea proteins. I know that some of the Beyond Meat it has actually the inflammatory components taken out of the pea proteins, but it is highly processed. And so some people experience inflammation from those more processed vegetarian-based proteins. Also, I'm seeing that the sleep isn't as much. It feels like you could do with like 9 hours of sleep a few nights a week. So I don't know if that's because of your back or your schedule or both. But if we can somehow, because the thing is, it's counterproductive at this point. If we don't get that, under get that inflammation lowered and get that pain released, then it's less efficient. Like if you took time off, or if you reduced your schedule and were able to get some of those longer nights sleep, we have this construct that we think that 6 hours is enough for adults. It's not enough. And especially if you're spiritually open and active and you're an anchor for higher energies, then no, it's not. 8-9 hours is really, 7, if that's should be the low bar, is 7. So but I see some of that, but I don't want to get too much into it, but I see that both are telling me looking at the ways to lower inflammation, which means to find the things, whether they're foods or whatever, or activities that would raise fill the bucket of inflammation, and see if you can reduce those. significantly, because we kind of need to reset inflammation. We kind of need to go like zero tolerance, like complete elimination, in order to get the inflammation to turn itself off. And then also to add the things that help to reduce inflammation, which might be the acupuncturist, acupressure, and then also any foods or activities that support the reduction of inflammation. And so what is so honestly, they're just telling me self-care is the lesson here. You wanted to know about be less rigid and tense. And so what they want you to be is soft with yourself, softer with yourself. That's basically it. Being softer with yourself will help to guide the other moments, the other nows, that will help you to be more open and give yourself, so you're saying rigid and tense, which means like almost like you're ahead, like, oh, what's going to happen next? And actually you can be behind, where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why this just showed up. So have you ever seen Snoop Dogg rap? Probably have. He's so like being very in popular music and hip hop and everything, to be a little behind the beat, just the right flavor, is like, it's the good stuff. I don't have that talent. I'm like show tunes, you know what I mean? Like they're always ahead, but to be like the right amount of behind the beat, so that you have this beautiful, like cruising cozy thing. Snoop freaks me out because when he's rapping live, it's like the lyric is about to show up and he doesn't even start to lift his arm. And I'm like, how did he do that? Because I was so worried he's about to miss that line because he has so much grace and he's so laid back with his mind on the money and the money on the mind. No, but he's so laid back. He's not worried about it. I know the lyrics coming up. So to give you that, so maybe this is a little bit of an attunement for you, a Snoop Dogg attunement, if you will. But being gentle with yourself will lead to that buffer zone, that grace, that time to observe and to be the seer of the play that is Jennifer's world, Jennifer's life. What's happening in Jennifer's life today? What's amusing about it? What's interesting? What's synchronistic about it? All right, there you go. All right, so your card is Rainbow Blessings. Rainbow Blessings. I love it. I just took a picture of my kitty Con today, and he was bathed in rainbow light because he was like sitting, we have like kind of some glass that's etched on our door, and he was sitting right in the sun ray, and he just had a spectrum, like a crystal spectrum on him. All right, so Rainbow Blessings. So here you go. You got this. That's basically the long and the short of this card. Excuse me. The rainbow energy. So they're actually saying, channel the rainbow energy. Jennifer, were you in the intuitive intensive? Because you may, if you were, there is a magical rainbow meditation that was in the intuitive intensive. And if you downloaded it, it might be a good time to revisit that one and receive those blessings from the rainbow. Otherwise, you can just do a meditation visualizing and receiving the blessings from each of the rays of source energy, all of the fractal rays of source energy, asking and receiving how you can reduce inflammation, be gentler with yourself, and find that buffer zone of grace and presence with your life. Okay. There you go, guys. That was super fun. Let me see what you're saying here, Jenna. Snoop-a-loop. Snoop Dogg attunement, yes. You did the Reiki class. Okay, great. Well, we do have the intuitive intensive coming up very soon. I think next week we are going to open registration for it. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a smidge about the intuitive intensive while we're still here together, while I'm also grabbing this link here. The intuitive intensive is our Cornerstone Program, but I am putting up something else right now. Is our Cornerstone Program, and it's going to be in January. It's mid-January, I believe. And that is, we do it once per year currently. I would love it if we could bump it up to more than once per year, but we do 3 or 4 intensives per year. Intensives are multi-week programs. We do a lot of workshops. We have a lot of amazing workshops coming up. And so keep your eye out for the intuitive intensive registration showing up next week. There's always an early bird, and it's already very, very affordable. And this weekend, we have the mystical medium, and the link is right here, class.lightshineacademy.com/mediumship. I will be teaching it. We will be doing a deep dive, immersive education, and attunement to the mediumistic frequency. And I'm so excited about it. So go check that out and register. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday, and we are going to have a blast. Kristen says that the intuitive intensive is life-changing. I agree. And that's not me patting myself on the back or patting Crystal on the back, because we receive it as well, and it changes our life every single year. We've been doing it since 2018. So 18, 19, 20, 21. This is our fourth. Wow, it seems longer than that though. And this, I'm sorry, I don't know what your name is. Packed with full of info. Thank you. Well, guys, I am going to be on my way now because I need to do a little work here at my studio. My husband and I have a post-production audio studio here. So like this room itself gets rented out for people to do ADR and voiceover for film and television. And we have one actor coming in here to do one short session for 30 minutes. And I need to be available to let them in and get them to their recording booth. So that's what's going on with me. Thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight, or watching on the replay. And just a recap at the beginning, if you showed up late, we talked about panpsychism, philosophical and spiritual concept that in every part of reality there is a mind or a mind-like quality, and how that leads us to everything in the world and the universe being neutral in its basic creator energy, and then anything that is created or experienced is the frequency of love. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to find me, my website is triciacarcharm.com, but really I want to invite you to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/TriciaCarr, TRICIACARR. And the cornerstone of my work is my podcast, Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. Just find that however you get your podcasts. I have conversations. Oh, Julie is actually going to be on really soon. And then I also do a lot of solo episodes. So that's what I have for you. Again, Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. And join the Light Shine Lab if you haven't yet. And I will see you guys very soon, maybe this weekend. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.